else in the room. I'm going to test the audio on this. I just want to make sure. This is a guinea pig test run. I know the air conditioner is running, so I am going to knock over the camera. This is why we do these things now instead of later. Yeah, let's get this set up. I'm going to go ahead and turn that air conditioner off, just so it's not super loud. Okay. All right. Okay. Buddy. Start building these up here. Yeah. I think I've got enough stuff to open. Bjorn, how are you? You are the first person. How's the audio? Let me know in the chat because I can't hear myself, so obviously. I am getting ready to unbox the Chap Mei mech. I've got the Death, Lies, and Treachery Boba Fett from the Target exclusive wave of Boba Fetts. You can hear me fine. Fantastic. What's strange is on all the apps, it can pick me up with my facing camera, but whatever happens in iMovie or iPhone, hello, how are you? During the, whenever I use my iPhone to try and record with my self-facing camera, the audio gets all screwy, so you can tell in some of my older videos. But I am going to go ahead, I guess I'll get started here with, we'll say, I'll open Boba first. I do really like the package. I wish that Hasbro had gone full tilt and done the stylized pieces. His helmet, the shoulder armor, maybe even the gauntlet, they are differently stylized than the figure. I get that they're just trying to convey that comic book, especially with the cell shading and everything, but I think it would have been cooler personally if they'd have gone full tilt on that, which would more so justify the 21, I think it was like $21 or $22 price tag for this, especially if you're not going to keep it on card back like me. Fortunately, I had basically a free figure through some returns, and I had some Target savings that I used. So this is a tool. This is not the thing that people use to hurt each other. And as always, when you're using your tools, use it away from yourself, not towards yourself. But that was the easiest way. It goes up and down a bit. That could also be me genuflecting. Is that the word? No, genuflecting is when you kneel. Just could be how I'm projecting my voice. So, yeah, comes off the card back just like your standard figure. I kind of want to give that to the dogs to play with. So, here, Cowman. You take. He takes. He took it. He's gone. So let's see. Yeah, it's your standard Boba figure that they've been churning out when it comes to the Empire and Jedi look. Comes with a black blaster this time. Seems like I'm away from the mic. Let me see if I can do something real quick. We're going to try. Let's see here. Alright, so that's that way. I'm not going to know how the audio is, but I'm betting, because of the issues that this thing has had, the audio is going to be a lot better. I hope. We shall see. I'm just going to keep doing my thing. Once I get a better setup and system in place, these lives will go a lot smoother. This is, again, just a test. You guys can see me, I hope. But these are actually, I spoke too soon. I thought these were black plastic. They're actually like a dark blue, dark purple, the blaster accessories. So that's a pretty cool inclusion. You get two, which is great, you know, because he gets to have his little pistol and his classic sidearm. This, again, is a straight-up repaint. Doesn't have the cape, unlike the other one. He does come with his rocket pack, though. The rocket pack's done up in the same color scheme. There's no cell shading. Wow, I thought I was done for there. No cell shading on the back. It's all in the front of the figure, which will make it great for customizing. Neat little figure. I have the other one right here for comparison, if you guys want to see. I'll do a quick little side-by-side without the blasters. This one looks more like the holiday, not the holiday special, but like a holiday Christmas Boba Fett. Purple blaster, lavender blaster. Just looks like another Mandalorian opportunity for me there. So there's that one, and then this one again. I wish they had just gone ahead and given us either the cell shading on the back or gone full tilt with the armor and, you know, really messed around. Let's see here. Let me check in on you guys, see how we're doing. Chat, okay. All right, how about you show me the chats? So it's not going to show me the chats. I hope that turning the camera that way maybe helped a little bit. I could probably put a microphone on. I'm not going to right now because, again, this is just test. So if you can still hear me, I'm still talking. We can communicate. That's what I care about right this moment. Yeah, the cell shading on this honestly is neat, but it's not particularly my thing. I don't ever look for this in figures. When I was collecting Marvel Legends, I didn't go after those cell shaded figures, so that is going to just become another random Mandalorian, or maybe it'll maybe I'll strip the armor off and just make it some type of worker, you know, somebody in the background. That'll be cool. So speaking of Mandalorians, we've got Paz Vizsla. I've already got one open. I'll open this one up, but I had anybody who's been following in any of the group chats for the World Makers, I bought 3. I bought 2 Paz and 1 of the Death Trooper. Got them home, opened it up. Somebody had swapped out other figures in it. Took that back to Target. I went into Target, made my returns. I go and get new figures. I'm walking, I'm like, something doesn't seem right. I open it up, and it's not the figure. So I go back, grab another one, pop it up, open it. It's another one. So we had a bunch of different figures that somebody had kept, or, you know, swapped, package swapped. So I brought those to the counter. I went and found 2 that were actually Paz Vizsla and was able to purchase those. So I don't think I'll get a Death Trooper until they... Bless you, sir. You okay, buddy? Bless you. The doggy's got some big sneezes. So again, using a tool, not the other thing that hurts people, because we don't want to get pulled off the air. I don't know how that works, but I know people have to say specific words, like instead of saying D-E-A-D, you have to say unalive, or, you know, if somebody gets... You have to say they got unalived. It's a whole monetization process. I don't know it. I'm not familiar with it. I try a little bit to pay attention. One day I'll get there, I'm sure, but not a huge worry right now. So this guy comes packed in, pretty standard. His legs are wrapped so the cardboard, I guess, doesn't rub on the paint. He's got really good articulation for a big, thick boy. I thought that was cool. Just a little over 90 on the elbows, which is a lot more than I thought you could get out of this. So that's super cool. The shoulder pads move. They're attached to the... It looks like they're attached to the chest plate, so they articulate out of the way, basically, when the shoulders go up. That's a cool feature. Head has that full roundabout tilt that you'd expect. The neck doesn't go anywhere. Torso bend, down, back at the waist. There's also some articulation there at the hips, which is nice. He can go spread eagle about that far. I don't want to push it any further. He's got rocker ankles, which is great. And also they cut into the armor so that he can do the flying pose and that doesn't get in the way. I think that's a really cool inclusion and just thinking ahead. Also, this foot does it. The shin, I guess not the shin. Yeah, that's your shin. The armor that goes here over the top of your foot attached to the shin plate. That's really cool that they let that be a standalone sculpt so that your foot can move independently of that. Knees can get less than 90. Well, the left knee can get less than 90. Right knee gets a little more. He's got a butt cape, some Mando cake there for everybody who's a fan of that. The blaster on his arm looks fantastic. It's got the port for the hologram shield. All the accessories come packed in a little paper sack like this. going on record and saying not a huge fan of the boxes. I had no bad luck. Now that I've had bad luck, I see what people are bitch moaning and complaining about. Now I get it. Now I see. Understood. I apologize if I dismissed anybody out of hand who's like, oh, I hate these cardboard packages. They should do some type of tamper evidence seal on these. And if the, person's returning them to the store and that seal is broken or something, can't return to the store. Now, I know, just like a mousetrap, you're going to build a smarter mouse because of that, but there's an opportunity there for them to take a little bit more effort, a little bit more extra care in getting the product to the customer, because that's it's not okay when you go to buy something at a store and you have to bring it back because it was not that thing, and then you go to the shelf again and there's a whole bunch of other items on that shelf that are also not the thing that you're trying to buy because someone swapped them out. And that was between two different Targets, mind you, one in Albany and one in Latham. Someone returned a shit ton of these guys with Fortnite figures, weird Batman, all kinds of, it was a mess. They put in like Fortnite campfires as the accessories and things like that, so that's no good. It's not good for the collector. It's not good for anybody who's buying. As far as the accessories on this go, he's got his pack with the chain for the, I guess, the energy to go on this blaster. And then the other thing that I just kind of put two and two together, I have him posed and the other one being held, is this will actually port into there to stay up and out of the way. So that's like super damn cool. And I guess you would put the barrels facing up so that this could get fed into here. There you go. So yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. I like that feature. Good thinking outside, Hasbro. And it's got a peg, which goes in his back, which matches the peg hole. We can do that right now. And just... now he looks like he's out for a walk. His knife, now when you do get this, be careful. The knife is small and almost an iron color. And it will blend into whatever tabletop you have on. And that just goes into his boot. They did include a recess in his boot to put his vibro blade. So that's smart thinking too. He comes with jets for the jetpack. I'm not going to plug those in now because I will lose them. A tip for the blaster. It can go right into the triple barrel there for an action pose. And it also comes with the shield that goes off of the gauntlet. Now, I can show you him out of the way. This is how I have him posed up over here for the time being. You'll see when I get new figures, if you guys catch me on a live or whatever, sometimes I'll put the newer figures right here by me so that when I'm on like the World Makers Consortium, or if I'm over there as a guest or a guest host on Toy Domination and they want to see what we got new, I've got something right there. And also I like to just fiddle when I'm painting. If I want to stop, let something dry, I'll play with another toy instead of work on things. So I think the thing that most people are excited for is this, because this is newer. So I'm just going to shut up and get this thing open. Yeah, I got this for 15 bucks. I will be getting a bunch of these. I know that Wenzilla picked me up one. Huge shout out to Wenzilla. If you're not following Wenzilla, go on the Wenzilla Reboot. Give him a follow. But let's get this bad boy opened up. Looks like they've got him rubber banded in the front. That's taken care of. I'm guessing, like most toys these days. Yep. So we'll go ahead and we'll make an incision there. And there. That allows that to open up. Doesn't look like the backdrop offers a lot of playability. There's no, amazing mural or anything. So we're going to discount that. And just take that right off of there. The back has, your artwork, your warnings. Don't put it in your mouth. If you do, that's your business. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. It's just, I wouldn't. That's me. I wouldn't put plastic from a toy that's been in a store handled by a bunch of people in my mouth. So you're wound up with this. The way it's attached on the back has one of those lovely little twist knobs. Lefty-loosey, I think it goes. So we'll just give that a left turn. A few left turns. Damn, that sucker's on there. Alright. That's removed. say goodbye to that. And then the accessories, the little human toy gun accessories, they're tied in there. We'll take care of those. And then for the feet, to get the mech and the human being out, you just, again, left loose, right tight. Take care of that. Alright, so that gets him off there. I suppose we'll take the human off. Take him right off of here. And there's that. Guess we'll pop these off right now. The little sprue kit full of guns. I actually like to, or blasters, I should say. Hey, Angie. Blasters, I should say, are what I like to do with them is I remove all this stuff, right? Take everything out so you're just left with this frame. It's got some rivets, it's got some parts on it. Paint it and put a picture behind it. It's like a billboard. Or you could use it as a spaceship screen. There's a million different ways. You can sand off the Made in China. But yeah, that's like an extra added little bonus useful thing. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 blasters and 1 cell phone on this. So there's that living in there. Cool. Take a quick look at the person. I don't necessarily care for the pilot. I know he does have articulated legs, elbows, and his hands rotate, which is super cool, which is not something you normally get out of Chap Mei figures. Usually they're fixed in place. Let's see, we'll take a quick look. There's a lot of detail in these sculpts. I wish that they would spend a little more time putting paint on it, but I also get it. It's mass-produced, like really mass-produced. You want to get it out quick. But we've got shoulder articulation, doesn't pivot up. He can't make like he's flying. He can do a very poor Superman, but he can rotate his hands, which is, I like that in a figure. He can do his elbows about 90, probably for steering. His legs come up to here, his knees bend there, about 90 degrees, both ways. His ankles do not pivot or rotate. He's just a little guy. And his head goes left and right, very stiff. There's the back of the figure. Again, there's so much detail here, not a lot of paint. I'm actually impressed that they did put what paint they put on there, but I might use him for parts or a background character or something, but he's not the one. I also don't think every mech needs a pilot. Neither here nor there. So, taking a look at this guy, I'm not going to put batteries in it because I will just lose my mind. But it's got shoulder articulation, big old blasters on there, the legs, big honkin' chunky legs, a lot of detail with bars and pistons. I appreciate that a lot. Caution tape, that's going to come off. I might put that back in later. I don't know that I will. Let's see what the hips do. What them hips do, girl? It's got a high kick. That is impressive. Like, if you could get a figure stand or however, and you want to pose your bots fighting, a mech delivering a kick like that from 300, yeah, it's very similar to the amp suits from Avatar. I can actually reach behind me and grab. I think I have an amp suit behind me, and we could do a side-by-side as soon as I'm done on this. But the cockpit has a orange lens. It opens up. That's cool. There's a seat. That's a lot more than I thought there would be, honestly. It's Chap Mei. But if you're a customizer like me, or maybe you want to get started, you can glue just a bunch of random pieces, hoses, hair ties, things like that. Put some paint on it, and that's going to look like it's a lot more value. Yeah, I've got a lamp over here. So there you go. You can kind of see inside of there. And there we are. That's some good lighting. And then it's got numbers painted on it. Oh, that's a sticker. Excuse me. But all these accessories that are attached, I think that's really cool. We'll close that up. It does have the push. Apparently there's batteries in it. Makes all kinds of nightmarish sounds. My dogs do not like that. They do not like that at all. One thing I appreciate here is having a separate hand than the weapon. So you can actually pivot this blade, the saw blade, up and out of the way. And it's got a hand. Hand doesn't open or close, but again, for a $15 mech in 1/18 scale, kind of badass. Like, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not going to complain too much. I just make the changes I want to make. So, like Bjorn said, this does remind him and reminds me of the mech suits from Avatar, so I'm just going to turn around and grab one. There's that there. Yep. And so this is the McFarlane mech suit for $20. As you can see, it is a lot more detailed. Inside the cockpit's a lot more detailed. The accessories are more detailed. It is a hefty chunk of plastic, but for a customizer, more casual, who wants to army build, somebody wants a fleet of these, or somebody like Dom from over at Toy Dominion, Toy Domination, I do that all the time. He builds squads, and so maybe he wants an armored division of mech operators. A lot easier to get these than it is to buy that many of these and furnish them and outfit them. So both are cool. I certainly do like the McFarlane one better. However, the McFarlane one does have some issues with the articulation on how it stands. There's a distinct lack of paint and coloration. Even in the film, there's a lot of detail on there. So, what could you say? It's got a lot of articulation, but again, for the price difference, I think this thing was like $20, $25. You're getting a lot more detail on here, but the paint's just not there. This guy here, he's got colored plastic. He makes noise. I'm not in it for the noise, but if you have a little kid or a nephew or a kid brother and you want to give him something badass to play with his G.I. Joes or his Star Wars stuff, this is it. I am certainly going to customize this. I don't know that I'll be making a video of it. I think I'm just going to, do it and then present it when it's done. Maybe I'll take a clip here or there. I do like that the interiors of things are empty, so I don't feel so bad if I take it off and just put it elsewhere. Let's see if this comes off. Right on the air. Look at that. That's dope. You can take the blaster off. That's cool. Let's see. Alright, so the saw is screwed in. There's a screw inside the... Yeah, you can see the lock washer that's holding it in place. I will unscrew that. I do appreciate, even though Chap Mei doesn't fill their arms and such on their figures, there's openings so you can get to the screws, so that'll come off. I'll probably trim the miniguns off of here. Just make this my own. Make it more of a... This will probably be a labor unit that's maybe retrofitted for combat. I don't necessarily want all my mechs that are in Gimmick and on the planet around Gimmick to be war mechs. There are war machines. There are mechs that are specifically for war. But I want a more casual, consumer-based, available mech. It's just like police departments. Maybe they get a neutered version of an MRAP from the Army. That type of thing, where maybe it's a local police force has it, but it's not armed to the teeth with miniguns and all that stuff. Whereas if I were to, say, paint this white, embellish it with a bunch of Imperial insignia, and add some antennas and whatnot, the Empire would have a much more armed one than, say, what they sold as surplus to a smaller town's police force, which would probably have the blasters removed. Maybe it would only have the antenna. It would be there just for intimidation purposes. But cool little toy. I do like that there is colored plastic in the in this section here. I like that lens is there. You can pop... I'm told you can pop that out for painting. I might be lazy and just mask it. Haven't decided. I want to get the red... I want to get one of each at least. I want to get a few of these guys here. I do like the idea that, a couple of them will keep their saws, because I'm thinking they can be lumber. Now, you're saying to yourself, Gimmick's a city. Famine, you've said that wood is actually quite a rarity. It is, but Gimmick's not the only place on this planet. They just think they are. Same for these other places. So there is a wooded area on the planet. I am not going to disclose the name. This is actually the first time I'm talking about this. But there is a wooded region, so it'd be pretty cool to have a mech that goes out there, chops the tree down, picks up the log, can place the log, or it can move cargo, help move cargo. That's cool too. I'll figure out a replacement arm for this bad boy. I'm thinking maybe another claw, maybe a bigger set, like a Jaws of Life type situation. We'll see what I'm able to do. For $15, I'm not scared of anything that I'm going to do to this. I do have some cast bits and pieces that'll be cool to cover up the shoulder so that you're not looking into the hardware that's in there. That's personally, I don't like to see screws and stuff with my toys. Some could be construction. I'd absolutely do one of these. I'll actually ask Jason. I'll ask him to maybe do one of these up as like a cat. Do it as a caterpillar type one. That'd be pretty cool. I've done some stuff for his, he's got a 1/87th layout, 1/87 scale layout, and I've done a couple of things here or there, painted painted oddball stuff for him, weathered some can you tell it is Monday? Weathered up some treads for bulldozers and caterpillars for him for his construction sites that he's got that he builds. So maybe I'll see if he wants to do one of those up for me as a cat product. But yeah, I do like this. There's, again, because it's Chap Mei, there's not a lot going on in the back. They don't tend to, again, you know, like I said, so much detail, but there's not paint or anything. I could take this off. Anybody can take that off. You just need a little, maybe a coping saw, or even if you're very careful, an X-Acto blade. Yeah, mining guild would be cool. And again, you're right with the yellow and black, but you can take that off. I have EL wire, thinking I might be able to do something about that, and then I think the box that the EL wire runs off of can fit right there, so I'd have an on and off button. I wouldn't have to hear every time I want to turn it on. Could just pump some EL wire through there. Maybe I could even light the interior of the cockpit with it. Not going to say I'm going to do that, but it's an opportunity that's just passed through my head as I sit here playing with this thing, thinking about the options. And again, this is another cool thing. Yeah, could be used for breaking down things, like I said, cutting wood, cutting ice if there was a cold section, breaching, you know, containment for something if an animal's loose and they need to scare it back. Bigger, you know, like a Rancor or something. I'm not thinking I can I don't think I could reach my Rancor right now, but Rancor is probably a little bigger, but, you know, Rancor versus mech, that sounds cool as hell. Not gonna lie to you. Like, Pacific Rim, that was my jam, so Kaiju versus giant robot, hell yeah. One of these versus a T-Rex, again, with Jurassic. I do have my Jurassic stuff, so I'm sure I could repurpose one of these as like a kind of 90s throwback to like what they were doing with the toy line with different weird things. And put this guy back, or else I will knock him off the table. And then, speaking of mechs, I do have this smaller guy who is a Funko Pop from Titanfall, and it was actually STC Forge who turned me onto these for this scale. I'm thinking maybe not a Jawa, but maybe somebody smaller like Grogu, or maybe even an Ugnaught. Painting this up and just having like a bay full of mechs, do a mech repair station or something. There's a lot of options here. These have a lot more detail and a lot more paint that I'll probably have to go over and cover up, but I like the notion. But again, not all mechs need to have pilots. You could pretend it's your toys, your world. You don't have to. How much are they, Bjorn? Because everywhere I went to buy one of these, like even in package or loose, people wanted like $50, $60 for them. I got this at a yard sale for $7. The guy, he kind of knew what he had, but he didn't have it like priced super high. So I just said, "What do you take?" He said 10. I said, "Would you do 7 for me?" I was getting something else. I said, "That'll make it an even 10." He goes, "Yeah, why not?" So for $10, I got this guy. I think he gave me a gun with it too, and I'm not sure what the gun goes to. But yeah, he could be a exploratory droid, you know, large-scale exploratory droid. He's got those dome eyes on there. You know, maybe one of his operators could be one of Aegis Station's little pup droids. They've got similar eyeballs on there. There's 3 eyes. There's 3 eyes on the pup droid. Pop him in there, you know. Does fit. That's actually really impressive how well he fits. But that just closes there. That just closes there, and he's in there. But again, they're your toys. Use your imagination, man. We're most of us are grown-ups, grown men and women, people in between that are playing with toys. So like, let's use our imaginations, and nothing's too childish, right? I guess I could talk about some other stuff I'm working on if you guys are cool with watching. It seems like there's 5 people chilling. Seem to like listening to what I'm saying here. So yeah, if you guys have some questions, pop them in. I guess I'll talk some more about things that I'm working on. If you guys want to hear it, otherwise we can call this stream, and I'll thank you all for being here, and then I'll go, you know, I don't know, take a nap or something. Give myself a little bit of caffeine. Hashtag not sponsored. I don't actually like these. I've been dragging all day. It was a long weekend, so gin. let's see here. I've been on and off painting the first member of my Gungan motorcycle club. He will be one of the founding members. And by motorcycle club, speeder bike, obviously. It just tickles me to no end that I'm going to do a Gungan motorcycle club. I originally, when Hasbro made that really, really dope 6-inch Jar Jar Binks figure, made it a Target exclusive. It came with the shield, the staff, the blue energy grenades from Naboo. For, you know, classic Target, they didn't show, and then all of a sudden they were there for a week, and then they were on clearance for $11. So I was like, oh, let me pick up 1 or 2 of these. And then they dropped down in clearance to $7. And I was like, well, let me get 6 of these. Then they dropped down to $4. I cleaned them out, so I had a whole army, and I was going to do a Gungan motorcycle club. I realized that army building in 112 was, number 1, expensive. Number 2, there's not a lot of alien races that were available in 112, so I didn't pick that up anymore. I eventually moved back into 118 scale. I still have a lot of the Gungans, but those are going off to some friends who are you know, doing 112 photography, 112 toy collecting, so they can do whatever they want with them. I am going to use my 118 scale Gungans and make a speeder bike gang. So I've got some, you guys have seen my speeder bikes that I built, different things like that. I got this Galaxy, excuse me, that's why I don't like those, they make me burp. Galaxy of Heroes speeder bike, little modification, and this will be perfect for this Gungan. I will actually be putting I guess a much bigger footrest for him on there, but he does fit right in comfortably with his butt down once the footrests are out of the way. I'll do ape hangers for the handlebars because it's a motorcycle club, and that's going to be awesome. And just all sorts. I'm going to try and find 118 scale scooters, you know, just like the modders from the Book of Boba Fett. I thought those were cool once I understood the reference to the counterculture movement, and the little sidecar that came with that bike. I actually am using it for this little alien guy, little gray alien. I put him in a spacesuit for when he's out walking around, and then he's got his little naked alien body for when he's up by a ship, which is in another video. I made it out of a Dollar Tree UFO. Go check that out. But yeah, little sidecar. Made it into his own little independent speeder bike. I'm going to clean it up, paint it, probably to match the ship. I thought about putting a point to attach the droid, but the idea is that there's a ball droid inside of the ship, so having the ball droid's head, it's not going to fit in there. May think of something different down the road, but thought that was pretty cool. And like I said, you guys are hearing it here first, unless somebody else already did it, and then you're not. But Target, their Halloween $5 deals, they have EL wire, 3 different colors, yellow, orange, and purple. I may have seen red, but those 3 were the ones that stuck out. 2 AA batteries. Those are colors that you normally don't see at the store. You usually see red, blue, green. Blue and green are damn near interchangeable. They almost look exactly the same. You don't see yellow. I've never seen purple. I've never seen orange. So I scooped these up. Haven't tested them out yet, but they'll probably work really good. So there's your scoop. There's your, you tuned in for a famine live. You got a famine treat. These bad boys right here. I'll be utilizing those in something. Probably a billboard or whatnot. I've been working on my Jason Jensen stuff slowly but surely because I want to take my time. I do like building the kits. If you guys don't have them already, go check them out. Go to Jason Jensen's store, jasonjensentrains.com. He's got a sci-fi section. Please check these out if you're a member of his Patreon. He offers discount codes to patrons. They're one-time use codes. I've used it a couple of times on not only this, but again, Jason's got 118, 187 scale train, HO scale train, so I picked up a couple of train things for him too. But it's really worth it for the sci-fi stuff alone and the behind-the-scenes pictures. When he says in his videos of building those to save the accessories, or excuse me, save the waste, like the excessive pieces around the things you pop out, it's no joke. This here, I just glued 2 of these together. They're the the body of the barricade. I'm going to use that as a piece of decor on something just to add a little bit of flair, a little bit of, you know, science fiction, panels. Panels are very sci-fi. So save that up. save those pieces and use those because that's a cool extra thing. Um, these guys right here, I'll keep them. I'll probably use them. I will tell you though, they don't take paint very well. These are the cheapest, junkiest plastic that you're ever going to get, like cheaper than the cheapest toys. Sand the hell out of them, prime them, let the primer dry for a few days, and then you can paint them. But they make cool caltrops. You know, I don't know if you're familiar with caltrops are, but they're basically anything that's angular and sticks up in multiple directions when you step on it. That's meant to impede forward movement. So maybe throw these down in front of walkers, and I'll put a red blinking light on top of it, and suddenly they're caltrop mines. They may not explode under the walker, but it's going to send that thing flying up underneath it. I have a million ideas. This is stuff that runs through my head when I'm working, when I should be focusing on that. This thing that came out of the package that held the human being, you could probably use it as a droid rack. Make it into a charging station. Alternatively, you could mount it right to a wall like this, have it coming off, put a sign there, or just leave it like this, paint it a color, and it could be some type of signaling device. You don't know what it is. You don't have to know. You could run wires through it and just use it like something that keeps cables out of the way in your city or your world, your spaceport, your starport, whatever it may be. And again, for those who weren't here before, I pop all these off the sprue, and actually I'll do it right now. I've got a set of nips right here. I just take them all off the sprue, and then you're left with this frame. And this frame is great once you sand off the little nubs from the sprues, because I can't afford one of those God hand nippers, those nippers that are, I think they're like $80 or $90. I do enough kit bashing to justify it. I just can't bring myself to buy an 80. I have expensive tools. Don't get me wrong. I have expensive construction tools. I have expensive hobby tools as well. But just for some reason, those nippers, I can't. But I have a set of nippers here. But once those are all out, you just go ahead. So that's all gone. Get those out of the way. I'm not very strong, guys. I'm sorry. But you're left with this frame. This frame has all those details around it. You can sand down the China, made in China, but trim that off with a safety knife or an X-Acto. Just be careful, please, when you're using any type of hobby tools that's sharp or dull. You want to use a new blade as well, because a dull blade will cut you way worse than a sharp blade will. But once those are cleared off and removed, you can paint it. You can get paint in the little recesses there and make it look like lights, but put an advertisement or something like a billboard. Make it look like a little billboard. That there, sci-fi, and just have it hanging in the background. It adds detail, value, and that's another piece of what would have been waste plastic. This would have been garbage. If you weren't thinking outside the box. Oh, Starboy's here. Hello, hello. But that's just like another piece that you can keep and use out of that package. The guns, or the blasters, the pew-pews, gotta be careful what we say. But the pew-pews, I've always thought they were too big for 1/80 or 1/18 scale, but if you cob them together and put them on, as Greeblies on starships or something like that, spaceships, that's cool. I know my Ithorian has one of these right here. Raylan Retline, the Ithorian with no memory and a gun, because he is a direct, Western influence, because I love my space cowboys, love my sci-fi. I'm wearing a Firefly Blue Sun shirt. Come on. You know how it is. But he's got one of these too. It's just sci-fi enough and just Western enough to look cool. So if you have somebody who's like, I don't know, Cad Bane, maybe a compatriot of Cad Bane's, another space pirate, give him that. The little 6-shooter, if you have a sheriff or somebody who is revolver, excuse me, I don't know that it's a 6-shooter. It's outer space. It could be, could be an unlimited ammo charge. We just don't know. Bjorn, you're missing out. 13 episodes, beautifully written science fiction, followed up with the movie Serenity. If you love it, you're going to love it. The books and comics that came out after are awesome. Hey, some people call me Maurice, and I've asked them to stop. I said it's famine or nothing. But yeah, if you have somebody like a Rick Grimes character or a sheriff or even, you know, a shopkeep that needs a little heater, that's another good one that's actually closer to 1/18th scale than anything. So, and then for the cell phones, I actually have a whole plastic little tote full of cell phones and like devices, and you can actually like glue those on the outside of people's packs and things like that, and just paint up a couple of the pieces, make it stand out. Let's see if I can get the. Can you tell I'm not used to doing my own lives? I'm only used to doing other people's lives. But there's details and raised points. You can dry brush it, glue it on there, paint it bright colors. You know, maybe it's an emergency phone in case they get separated from their ship, or a radio that's in contact with their people, or maybe they just use it to eavesdrop. Bjorn, I just saw somebody do that with on the Facebook group for the chicken fried toys. Yeah, somebody was doing a Woody. So you should certainly check that out and see if you can come up with a way to improve that or put your own spin on it, because that's a good idea. A lot of these characters, as I've said before, are based on other things, your multiversalness, they're representations of parts of my weird imagination, and I'm sure trauma and all that stuff. This project Gimmick started as a mental health project, something to help me, you know, work my way through the pandemic as a hobby, get my exercise my creativity, exercise my things that I'm working on, get it out of my system. Here we are. I've loved going back to 118. I've gotten so much done, so much accomplished. Third-party toys. Uh, so Toy Pizza had some sales at Toy Pizza Con, and I picked up some of their Glyos line, and I've been working on this droid here, and I'm having a blast. I've just been hand painting the panels. I've been, you know, doing different types of metal, and yeah, I've been having fun with this guy. So he's going to be completed soon. I'll probably have a lore video up about him because I want to tell a little bit about him. But like I said, I've been having a blast making this guy. This dude's really cool. Not super articulated, but not everything has to be. There's a lot of sculpt there, and I've learned that. I used to, if you remember at the beginning of this channel, I lamented countlessly and constantly the amount of times how much I can't stand 5-point of articulation figures. For posability, they're trash. I can't do it. Doesn't help me. I can't set them up and make them do what I want to do. But for background characters or parts even, or just practice painting, hell yeah. So you want to populate a city or you want to populate a shelf, an alien cantina, that's where it's at. You pick up this guy, I'm sure. If you had a cool alien space helmet, you pop that head off, put that on there, maybe give him some tentacles instead of hands, and then paint up all those details, dry brush him. If you want to take the time to paint the straps like I would because I'm a psycho, get this guy nice. But, you know, get this guy painted up, make him weird, put him in a generalist pose because, you know, again, this dude ain't doing shit. Maybe I can have him skiing. Maybe he's at the brothel helping out a couple of the fellas. We don't know. But yeah, could put like I said, weird helmet, change his hands to tentacles, paint him up, set him in the background somewhere, have him, you know, trying to siphon some oil out of a barrel. We don't know what he does. We don't know why he's here. And you know, I recently did this Rocket Raccoon using a quill body and just really went to town, gave him some accessories. He's got some lore that's going to be coming. Made his tail. Yeah. You can do a lot of things. And that rocket that his head is from is actually it was a 5-point of articulation rocket. Oh my goodness, paint him up like a dummy. That's not a bad idea. I have this thing. This was going to be my practice droid dummy at the target range. I was going to put a red, you know, red for the eyes. I already weathered him with some black oil because I needed to stage him as debris in a photo. But the plan was to just chain him up, have him be like a target for practice. Thank you, Bjorn. I really am proud of that rocket too. I went with leaned heavier into the comic influence, and I'm glad I did. I think that it came out really nice. he is a goofy little raccoon. And yeah, articulated. Like I said, he's Quill's body, so he's able to move around. The head is even articulated. I made sure that was a big thing for me. I was like, nope, the head's got to be articulated. Tail can actually come off. What up, Brad? The tail can actually come out of there so he can sit in ships and stuff. That was another thing that I was like, I gotta make sure. So who knows? Maybe he'll have his own mech. Call it Groot, cover it in tree bark. You never know. Yeah, so that's what I've got. That's what I've got going. Does anybody have any questions, either about the mech, or about the Boba Fett, or anything that I've just rambled about? Yeah, those Quill bodies are handy, man. Or even making if you take a Jawa with a soft goods robe and just swap the heads and put that soft goods robe on there, and a bandolier, you've got an articulated Jawa. Man, I think the body and the legs, but I don't think the arms are. I was showing this thing actually has a pretty damn big range of movement, and there's a lot more detail in the legs than I thought there was. Just based off of the Instagram pictures that I've seen, I took the gun off of this arm. This saw blade screwed in, so I have to get in there with a screwdriver and take that off. But I would imagine that the medical / rescue one. Oh, Bjorn says for the most part, I would imagine that the medical rescue one maybe doesn't have the machine guns all over it. A thought. I've never needed an ambulance and a minigun. Maybe for traffic. But yeah, we actually I actually busted out the amp suit to do a comparison. And yeah, they're very similar, obviously inspired by but the detail in the McFarlane one, there's a lot in the back. There ain't shit in the back of this one, which is fine. Makes room for other things. Yeah, he's running all kinds of drugs. And I mean, the McFarlane one he comes with his own knife, like a mech with its own fixed blade. That's dope. Yeah, I there's huge opportunity here to customize the shit out of this thing, especially for someone like you who's a 3D printer with all your 3D printing buddies that you mentioned. I'm told that the glass does pop out. I didn't try, but it looks like there's 2 tabs right there, and if I try hard enough, they should pop loose. You know what? F it. In the words of that terrible person, Bill O'Reilly, we'll do it live. Yep. Yes, sir, it does pop out. Boom. That'll make for painting a lot easier. And this, the cockpit cover actually, the way it's designed and how soft this plastic is. Right there. That comes right off. Yeah. And I bet these arms come off with a little heat. I bet if I hit that with a heat gun, this would pop right off. I feel like it was Jack specific. I'm wrong a lot though, so don't quote me on that. But yeah. Yeah. What else do you want me to tear this thing apart with? Like I said, I guarantee with like a hairdryer hitting these, pop right off because they're pegged so that they snap on and lock in place. But you know, a little heat and you wiggle it back and forth should straight off. Don't bend it and wiggle it to try and get it off if anybody wants to try. It's a fast way to snap a tab or snap the actual pin arm that's holding it in place, so don't do that. You just want to heat it up, get it nice and soft, and then work it off of there, and then it should pop right off. At least my experience with Chap Mei toys. I just work here. I'm not a professional. Everything I do is made up on the spot. It's done by the seat of my pants. But yeah, and there's screws in the back, so you can take the body apart for paint. I do like that. I appreciate that. Probably pop this plastic out. Like, get rid of that. That's the noise making's got to go. I don't like my toys to make noise. I don't even like my dinosaur toys to make noise because I'll bump into a table or the cats will walk by and all of a sudden you'll hear this horrific scream come from across the room and I have no idea where it came from until it clicks with me like, oh yeah, goddamn dinosaur over there. So, but yeah, that came out real easy. I will say I noticed. Oh, I think it's worth the $15. Absolutely, especially for just the sheer size and shelf presence alone. It's worth $15. The customizability, the fact that I can take it apart to do what I want to do with it. Yeah, certainly I think it's worth $15. I will say I noticed a lot of the. It was somebody eating the bag of chips in a Dollar General, I think is what happened. I will say that I saw a lot of these in the store that were the front ones were scratched up. So if you really care about the plexi, check the boxes that are closer to the back. Don't rely on the ones in the front because everybody gets their little grubby meat hooks on them and starts finger banging them, and the next thing you know, it's all scuffed up and gross. But yeah, and then it should pop right back in. And it does. That's dope. That's really cool. That's a good feature for a toy to have. I appreciate them for doing that. He says as he struggles to get it in. It's just the tip. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Pops right back in. So that makes it painting a lot easier, I'm sure. And like I said, if you decide to light the inside of the cockpit, or even if you put a tea lamp in there, a tea light, like one of those little dollar store tea lights, and put that in there, it'll flicker, it'll glow, it gives it a little bit of life, some ambiance, makes it seem like maybe there's something electronic going inside of it, or maybe you want it to look like a fire. That's also a thing you could do. But there's a lot of opportunity for this. It goes back together. That's cool. I see this. I don't know if that was designed to help storage or keep them on the assembly line or whatever, but I'm betting if you got some flat hooks, you could stack like 5 or 6 of these and make it look like they're coming off of a conveyor. Somebody steps up, gets inside, heads off. Next one comes down, heads off. Again, it's the shit that runs through my head. But yeah, I'm happy with that. And like I said, I plan on getting quite a few of those when the time allows. / the money, because they're cheap, but also $15 I could get a TTC figure. Got to weigh the pros and cons. If you get discount coupons in the mail, if you guys follow me at all, you know I'm a slut for savings. Use that when you guys find discount toys or bargains. Hashtag slut for savings. We will make it a thing. But ooh, you could. That's Transformers thing, right? I don't know. I'm not a nerd, so I don't know. I don't know what Transformers are. I think that's the thing out front of my house. Combiners. I've eaten combos before. I know they have those up in Canada, but combiners. It sounds made up, actually. See, I'm trying to think if there's anything else here that I've got in progress that I can show that's not reserved for a YouTube channel or anything like that. Let's see. Let's get that guy out of there. Yeah, right. Big Mando. I don't know if I showed this guy off. I genuinely can't remember, but I made a GoBots. They were like the Kmart Transformers. But this was a mashup. I just wanted to make a destructive little droid. So I used some parts from a few different things. It's actually a Chap Mei chainsaw from one of their mech suits, their little loader mech suits that they released. With everything, it seems like it was in every toy line from Alien to Jurassic to, not Jurassic, but one of their dinosaur lines. Like, it was very strange. But yeah, just a little dangerous looking droid. Give him a little minigun that actually can be swapped out for something else. I gave him Wally's treads instead of having him have legs. Head rotates, does all the things that a droid needs to do. the arm goes up. You can move it. The actual blade is independent of the arm, so if you want it to be like this, get a little range. Main things, I put a little red tips on there and made it caution yellow and black, so Leonard did. Thank you. Sorry, it was Leonard. Um, I appreciate the correction. If I get any toy lines wrong here, please feel free to throw them in the chat because I'm the worst with names. But yeah, I just did a lot of the painting on the body, on the panels. Just tried to use a steady hand. I think I did a pretty good job. So there's just a little construction slash butcher slash murder droid. We don't know. We don't know what he's up to. I'm not going to ask him. If I saw it, be truthful. If droids were a thing and all of a sudden you just saw a droid cruising down the street with that saw blade on the side or that minigun pitched, like, no, he's got nothing to do with Ash. He's just a droid. I have Ash as a work in progress over here right now. But yeah, see, chainsaw hand. But yeah, he's a work in progress right now. I'm actually in the process of swapping out this arm, this whole arm unit, for a different one. And then I'll get this thing fully painted, equipped. October's going to be, late September and October is going to be real fun on the channel. I do have one other thing, but I don't want to show you guys. So I'm just going to tease you. This is out of sight, so I can just... I mean, I guess. But I do not have a P.O. box. I should get one. But if you've read Red Harvest, then you'll have exactly an idea of what this is. And of course, I'm really proud of this. I did the helmet. I did the missing lens, so we get some light there. See, so it's got a missing lens in the helmet. And you can actually line it up with his eye. And he's looking through that lens. I'll have to take some better pictures. Not the greatest quality, but you can tell what's coming, you know. I thought that was great. Stormtrooper. All right, Bjorn, I'll shoot you my address. You don't ever have to send me anything, but if anybody does want to send one, reach out to me and we'll make something happen. But yeah, so that's my I think that's all I'm going to show you guys until October. It's just a little hint, a taste. Give you a taste of what's to come. You know, Gimmick Starport may never be the same again after something like this happens. So but I recommend that, even if you're not super into the EU lore, because realistically, they didn't expand on any lore. It was just a cool Star Wars horror story, right? I recommend checking it out. There is an audiobook. I haven't heard it myself, but if you like audiobooks, if you want to listen to something while you're working, you do that. I recommend it. Red Harvest. Because as you guys know, I write zombie stories. I am available on Amazon. Check that out. It's under my government name. My latest book, my latest collection of short stories. What's going on? My latest collection of short stories is called Tales of the Undead. Check it out. It's available on Amazon. It was on sale last I saw. Amazon was like, hey, let's give your book to people for cheaper. We're still going to give you the same amount of money. And I said, neat. Do that. So yeah, if you want a copy of it, pick it up on Amazon. Like I said, it's Tales of the Undead, and it's listed under Kevin E.C. Kurgel. That's my government name, soon to be just my pen name. But check it out if you like horror. Some of it's comedy. There's some weird poems in there. There's some longer form short stories, some really short ones from the zombie perspective, from different survivors of zombie apocalypses. A couple of the stories are tied directly to a novel that I'm writing. Was going to be out this October, but I suffer from writer's block from time to time, just like anybody I'm sure who's a writer that's watching this stream now is well aware. Yeah. Basically, yeah. That I think that one was like kind of like a sideways prequel slash sequel to this, tied into it but not direct. But we are closing in on an hour, so I am gonna take the dogs outside, let them play. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. This was like super cool. Once I get this a little more figured out, we're gonna be doing these more often. Probably Mondays. Mondays are super. Let me know what the book is. Mondays are really good for me as far as streaming ability goes. So I will hit you guys up. There's a new short that just came out today. I shared about this guy. So if you're looking at how to find him, watch that clip. It will help you. They are not where. Excuse me. God damn. I'm like Rick Sanchez. Just Morty. Oh, yeah. I'm just gonna keep drinking and talking, Morty. Um, they are not where you think they are. So check out that short. Give it a watch. I appreciate everybody who logged in to watch. Help me debug this and troubleshoot. I hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. Be well. Always too sweet me. I don't know how to turn this off. There we go. Maybe. Yes.